In 2025, while air travel and automobiles are still struggling, Amtrak broke records with 34.5 million passengers. Even more unbelievable is that the fastest-growing routes aren't new projects but Amtrak lines previously considered old and slow. Given that the American transportation system has long been designed to favor low-cost air travel and private cars, this number is surprising to many. It defies the logic of a transportation model that has existed for decades. So why are these seemingly obsolete routes suddenly taking off? And what does this trend reveal about the true future of passenger rail in the U.S.? All is revealed in today's episode of On the Trains. Record growth and strong momentum. Amtrak reached a historic high in fiscal year 2025, carrying 34.5 million passengers, a 5.1% increase year over year, and its second consecutive year of growth. Total passenger mileage climbed to 6.9 billion miles, while adjusted ticket revenue rose 10.4% to $2.7 billion. Overall operating revenue increased 9.1% to approximately $3.9 billion, underscoring the strength of the rebound. The Northeast Corridor remained the backbone of the network, serving over 15 million passengers through services such as the Northeast Regional and the new Acela. At the same time, growth extended beyond this core region, signaling broader momentum across the system. But this growth isn't happening indiscriminately. It's concentrated on certain routes with numbers large enough to be undeniable. These routes are driving the entire system forward. So who are the names at the forefront of this breakthrough? Let's move on to the next section to explore those routes in more detail. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for important rail updates. Sunset Limited Route. In fiscal year 2025, Sunset Limited, the long-distance route connecting New Orleans and Los Angeles, recorded an 18.9% year-over-year increase in ridership, rising from approximately 76,900 passengers to more than 91,400 passengers. This growth is particularly notable given that Sunset Limited is one of Amtrak's longest and most complex routes, traversing multiple states and geographic regions, and has historically been viewed as slow and less competitive than air or road travel. Unlike short-distance services concentrated in dense urban corridors, Sunset Limited represents a multi-day, multi-state journey where the train itself becomes part of the travel experience rather than merely a means of transport. The addition of more than 14,000 passengers in a single fiscal year suggests a meaningful shift in how travelers evaluate long-distance rail, moving away from the perception of trains as a niche or nostalgic option. More importantly, the route's growth highlights that demand for long-distance rail travel never truly disappeared. It was simply overshadowed by faster or seemingly more flexible transportation alternatives. When a traditional route like Sunset Limited posts near double-digit growth without major technological upgrades, it indicates that consistent operations and reliable service can still unlock latent demand. The increase also shows that passengers are expanding their travel choices beyond short convenience-driven trips. Choosing a route like Sunset Limited implies a deliberate decision to favor rail over air or cars for journeys spanning thousands of miles, challenging long-standing assumptions about the limited appeal of long-distance trains. Given the high operating costs typically associated with such routes, these figures suggest that their value proposition may have been underestimated. In this context, Sunset Limited's rise is not just a statistic, but a measurable signal that long-distance rail remains relevant and increasingly attractive in Amtrak's future. California Zephyr Route. The California Zephyr stands out as another long-distance route contributing meaningfully to Amtrak's growth in fiscal year 2025. Connecting Chicago and San Francisco, the route carried approximately 403,000 passengers, up from about 351,000 the previous year, representing a 14.8% year-over-year increase. The California Zephyr represents a different driver of growth: experiential travel. The route does not compete on speed, nor does it function primarily as a commuter service. Instead, it offers a multi-day journey through diverse landscapes, an experience that air and road travel struggle to replicate. The addition of more than 50,000 passengers in a single fiscal year suggests that by 2025, travelers are returning to trains not only for convenience or cost, but also for the distinct value rail offers as a travel experience. When a slow, long-distance route continues to grow at a double-digit rate, it challenges the assumption that efficiency alone determines transportation choices. From a network perspective, the California Zephyr plays a key role in extending Amtrak's growth beyond traditional urban corridors. By linking the Midwest to the West Coast, it helps distribute passenger demand across a broader geographic footprint rather than concentrating it in a few high-density regions. This supports the view that Amtrak's momentum in 2025 is system-wide, not limited to a handful of core routes. More broadly, the Zephyr's performance reinforces the idea that Amtrak's success is not driven solely by operational improvements, but also by its ability to position rail travel as a uniquely immersive alternative within the American transportation system. As long-distance routes like the California Zephyr continue to attract hundreds of thousands of passengers annually, they underscore the enduring relevance of experiential rail travel and their direct contribution to Amtrak's record 34.5 million passengers in fiscal year 2025. The Texas Eagle. Alongside high-growth routes such as Sunset Limited and California Zephyr, the Texas Eagle represents a different but equally important form of expansion within Amtrak's network. In fiscal year 2025, steady volume-driven growth rooted in strategic connectivity, linking Chicago and San Antonio with through service, extending to Los Angeles on certain segments. The Texas Eagle serves as a critical bridge between the Midwest, the South, and the Southwest. In fiscal year 2025, the Texas Eagle carried approximately 372,000 passengers, up from about 326,000 the previous year, representing a 14.3% year-over-year increase. While this growth rate is lower than that of Sunset Limited, the absolute passenger volume highlights the route's importance as a high-utilization long-distance service rather than a niche or experiential line. The Texas Eagle is not defined by speed or dramatic scenery, but by functional continuity. Its appeal lies in its ability to connect multiple regions across long distances where alternative transport options can be costly, fragmented, or less accessible. The addition of more than 45,000 passengers in a single year demonstrates sustained demand for practical interregional rail travel. This growth also reinforces a broader pattern within Amtrak's 2025 performance. Expansion is not limited to iconic or headline-grabbing routes. Backbone services like the Texas Eagle play a crucial role in maintaining network-wide passenger flow, ensuring that ridership growth is distributed across regions rather than concentrated in a handful of corridors. Viewed alongside other key routes, each contributes to Amtrak's momentum in a distinct way. Sunset Limited signals the resurgence of traditional long-distance rail. California Zephyr positions rail as an immersive travel experience, while the Texas Eagle functions as a strategic connector, sustaining consistent passenger volumes across vast geographic areas. Together, these different growth profiles form the structural foundation behind Amtrak's record 34.5 million passengers in fiscal year 2025. Adirondack Route. Among Amtrak's routes that recorded growth in fiscal year 2025, the Adirondack stands out as the most notable case. Connecting New York City and Montreal, the route achieved the highest year-over-year growth rate in the Amtrak network, despite being neither a new service nor a high-speed or technologically upgraded line. In fiscal year 2025, the Adirondack carried approximately 83,900 passengers, up from roughly 69,100 passengers the previous year, reflecting a 21.4% increase. While the absolute passenger volume is smaller than some long-distance routes, the pace of growth is particularly significant, given the route's age and operational profile. This surge reflects a broader shift in demand for long-distance and cross-border rail travel. Beyond linking two major cities, the Adirondack connects multiple communities along the Northeast Corridor and the U.S.-Canada border region. The increase in ridership suggests that longer rail journeys are regaining relevance, moving beyond their traditional role as secondary options, limited to short or densely populated corridors. Compared to other long-distance routes such as the Sunset Limited or California Zephyr, the Adirondack occupies a unique strategic position. It directly connects two major urban centers in different countries, offering a competitive alternative to air travel for international journeys that previously had multiple transport options. The growth in ridership indicates that passengers are not merely returning to trains, but are actively choosing rail for cross-border travel. The Adirondack's performance also serves as an early indicator of Amtrak's broader momentum in fiscal year 2025. When an older, slower route emerges as the fastest-growing service in the network, it demonstrates that Amtrak's expansion is driven less by surface-level innovation and more by a genuine shift in passenger preferences and travel behavior. From a strategic perspective, the Adirondack shows shows that Amtrak's record 34.5 million passengers in fiscal year 2025 were supported not only by new routes or dense urban corridors, but also by the renewed strength of long-standing lines that had previously been underestimated. Its growth highlights the increasing importance of long-distance and cross-border routes within Amtrak's evolving national network, new routes and tests of success. Amtrak's growth in 2025 is driven not only by traditional routes, but also by new routes launched in the past fiscal year. One of these is the Mardi Gras service, a new rail service running along the Gulf Coast connecting Mobile, Alabama with New Orleans. In its first month alone, it carried 18,000 passengers, a figure that shows the previously underestimated demand for rail travel in the region. The initial success of the Mardi Gras service demonstrates that expanding the network into underserved areas can yield rapid results. The Borealis line connecting New York and Chicago is another example. In its first full year of operation, it carried nearly 250,000 passengers. This figure shows that if designed and implemented correctly, the new routes could quickly attract a significant number of passengers, contributing to Amtrak's overall growth. So, have you experienced any of these Amtrak routes yourself? And if so, which journey changed the way you think about train travel in the United States? Share your trip below. That's all for today. See you next time.